The word couture usually brings to mind high fashion for rich people. Well, Bellevue Arts Museum is giving that word a different spin in their current exhibit. Here it is, Counter-Couture, Fashioning Identity in the American Counterculture. And here to talk about that very long title is curator and hotshot designer Michael Cepress. Hi there.
Hello.
It's great to see you.
Great to be seen.
You
Thank
look
you.
very fashionable, might I say.
I appreciate that.
And this is my
Thanks.
third outfit here from Valeria.
You're looking
Beautiful.
terrific.
Thank you. Okay, so Counter-Couture, it celebrates the handmade fashion and style of the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah.
You weren't born in the 60s and 70s.
I was not.
So what made you want to do this show?
You know, I've always had this bizarre, almost kind of soul-deep connection to an era that I myself never lived. I was the little kid running around in tie-dye, and my aunts loved beads, and my dad's old fur vest, and just really feeling an affinity for another time, as I think a lot of people do,
Yep.
kind of beyond romanticizing it, but actually feeling a really solid connection to it. When I was in high school, I found a book called Native Funk and Flash. Essentially the perfect snapshot of fashion and style from California, Bay Area counterculture of that period.
So that got you. All right, so the premise of the exhibit is kind of whatever is going on in any given era, politically, socially, economically, that will show up in fashion, correct?
Absolutely.
So tell me about what was going on in the 60s and 70s that shows up in what's in this show.
Oh gosh, you know, there's a laundry list. Of course, everyone kind of now lumps the hippie movement together into one big pot, but
Right.
really it was political, social movements, sexual movements, philosophical things, spirituality, all of these facets were feeding into the same stream, this river of young people moving forward trying to make a new world for themselves.
Right.
And so there are garments in the show that are expressive of each of those veins.
Can you give me a couple of examples?
Oh yeah, there's, for instance, there's a beautiful military jacket that was fully embroidered by a man named Michael Cepress, a Seattle artist,
Right.
who really wanted to sort of soften the harshness of a military garment and did so through embroidering with colorful threads, kind of organic patterns all over the jacket, as
beautiful.
a political statement
Right.
and a statement of the sort of new masculinity that was emerging at that time.
So, you know, fashion is about, this show is about rejecting materialism in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
But it's still fashion. So, can you be into fashion and be non-materialistic?
Absolutely, and I think that's the whole point of the spirit of this show. It's about rejecting materialism, like you said, and actually kind of owning your own identity and expressing it through how you dress. It's not about buying something to put onto you, but it's about actually the reverse movement of looking inside yourself and then finding a way for your own attire to be expressive of that somehow.
Is there a particular piece that really spoke to you, either you wish you had designed it or you would love to wear it? Is there one in particular? Maybe a lot, but pick one.
Yes, absolutely. You know, there's pieces that carry so many stories that the design themselves is powerful, and the design is so powerful because of the story behind it. One piece that comes to mind is an embroidered top and skirt ensemble made by a woman named Marianne Schildknecht, who was traveling Europe when she was young, and on her way back into the States had decided to try to smuggle some drugs back into the U.S. and
Good idea.
It's perfectly reasonable for
Right.
for her at the time,
Right.
and she got busted by Italian cops and was put into a prison in Italy for months, where the facility she was held in was run by Italian nuns, and the nuns taught her how to embroider.
Oh my goodness.
So while she was incarcerated, Marianne took her bed sheets from her cell, tore them apart, and completely covered them in this swirling psychedelic embroidery that became this top and skirt. That's one of the featured pieces in the show.
And what I love about that story is there is the foundation of the meaning of this entire show. You know that story, it's way beyond fashion.
Exactly.
Right? It's way beyond just the look.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm hoping that's the takeaway that people have, is that it's not about, I mean, of course, designers are out in the world to help you find that in
Right.
one way or another, but that you can then meet the design world halfway, or the fashion world, and bring elements of yourself and your own story into your wardrobe.
Well, fantastic. It's a really, really great show. Counter-Couture runs now through January 10th, 2016 at Bellevue Arts Museum, and you can learn lots more about Michael and his design studio at michaelcepress.com. Well, thank you so much. And by the way, this is kind of that era, what you're wearing.
You know,
it's a little bit swinging, a little bit 60s.
That's exactly it. Thanks for noticing.
You're pulling it off.
Thank you.